So welcome and thank you for joining us, and thank you each one of you all for coming in live. I'm extremely delighted to have Margot Mckinney with me, and she's going to be talking to us about Australian pearls and Australian pearl farming. So let me introduce Margot Mckinney first of all. Margot Mckinney belongs to a family of luxury retail dating back to 1884. This heritage is evident in the craftsmanship of her one-of-a-kind statement pieces. Her jewels have been graced on the red carpet from Oscars to Cannes, and she has adorned many international celebrities. So it's a great honor for me to have you with us at this live session. And before we continue, I would just like to share that, since I've always been a great admirer of pearl and diamond jewelry, I came across your social media handle and wherein I expressed my fondness, to you. And it was a delight for me to try on your pieces, wear your pieces when I visited Burj of Goodman, because out there you were having a small little private preview. And I was absolutely mesmerized seeing all your wonderful creations. So thank you once again for giving us all your time.
A great pleasure, Renu. Great pleasure. And it's wonderful that you can be in New Delhi and I can be in Brisbane, Australia, and we can chat like this. It's great.
Oh, yeah, totally. So to begin with, I would like to know that you have one-of-a-kind pearl jewelry. So what inspired you to create your signature creation?
Well, Renu, many of us have a beautiful strand of pearls that might have been handed down in our family. And I felt that modern women don't want to wear pearls that are grandma's pearls. They want to wear pearls with their own interpretation and with a modern twist and with some color and with some gemstones. So I set about designing a range of jewelry, a collection of pearl jewelry that was simply for the modern woman to be able to wear on a day-to-day basis. It didn't have to be a strand that you only kept for the best, or for, it was something that you could wear every day. And I actually don't feel properly dressed unless I've got a strand of pearls on. And I joke that I think that they practically put themselves on in the morning.
So I can see you're wearing some lovely strands of pearl. What are you wearing?
These are really quite incredible. These are natural pearls. So these are Keshi pearls.
Wow.
And it's actually the largest, finest strand, rarest Keshi pearls in the world. And they came from the farm in East Arnhem Land, right up in northeastern Australia. And they're quite frankly miracles of nature.
They are, because I believe that Keshi pearls are very small, right? But the size of these ones that you're wearing are huge. Like, what's the size of these pearls?
Well, a couple of them are 25 millimeters. They're amazing. And I doubt that we would ever be able to. I'm just holding the phone a bit closer so that you can see.
Wow.
I doubt that we would ever be able to put these together again. They're literally miracles of nature. And I mean, one can always tell a Keshi pearl because they have a very organic shape, even more so than a Baroque pearl. They look different from a Baroque pearl. And when we're at the farm, it's quite easy just to be able to set aside the Keshi natural pearls when we're doing that very first grading on the ship, on the mothership. But these are extraordinary. And Keshi pearls grow in a different part of the oyster from where other pearls grow. But we can talk about that a little bit later, probably.
Right. So I have a question. I can see that these Keshi pearls, they have a tinge of grey color. Is it so? Or they are, what color are they?
They are silvery grey. And quite with Australian pearls, once they get to a certain size, they do tend to have a silver overtone. When you get a large Baroque pearl, then it quite often will have a silvery overtone. The white pearls with the pink overtone are very rare, and it is a peculiarity, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. I think they're charming and they're very becoming.
And you mentioned that these are natural pearls. These are natural Keshi pearls. That's what you mentioned.
Yes, so no nucleus. So if you were to X-ray these pearls, they have no nucleus.
That's so beautiful. I can just imagine. And just for my information, how long did it take for you to gather the entire strand of pearls, these lovely Keshi pearls you're wearing?
Oh, many years, many harvests. And that's the incredible thing. If I can, you know, some important strands of pearls can take, you know, up to 10 years to collect. And so one really has to be very patient to to put together the perfect strand of pearls. And it's, you know, it's relatively easy to put together a strand of pearls with a big center and perhaps two impressive pearls on either side, and then to dramatically graduate them, because you don't have to be as careful about choosing a nice graduation. I think a strand of pearls should have about a 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter graduation between the front and the back to be pleasantly graduating. And that's what takes longer to put together, because that means that you have to be way more careful with choosing the right size pearls to go into a strand, and it takes longer.
Right. I'm sure. So there's a question by Anju. She wants to know, where do the best Keshi come from, and what are the best color available? Undertone, I mean. And she means that where are the best Keshi pearls coming from, and what's the best undertone?
Well, excuse me, you do get Keshi pearls wherever pearls are grown. So there are Tahitian Keshi pearls, and there are Japanese Keshi pearls. So they're just naturally occurring pearls. And sometimes when the pearl farmer opens the oyster to harvest the pearl that he knows is there, there'll be one of these naturally occurring pearls as well that grow in a different part. They don't grow in the reproductive part of the oyster, they're underneath it or around. So, you know, Tahitian pearls are a silvery grey black colour. So that's where the Tahitian Keshi pearls are that colour as well. So Australian pearls are silvery white. And when you have a silvery white Keshi pearl, then it comes from Australia.
Wow,
and same with the golden pearl, golden pearls, which come from Indonesia and the Philippines, because they grow in a gold-lipped Maxima pinctada oyster. It only grows in the Philippines and Indonesia. That's where gold pearls and gold come from.
Wow. So do you have some pearls that you can show us? It will be interesting to see some pearls before we proceed in the entire conversation.
I certainly do, Renu. Let me turn my phone around so that I can.
Sure. Thank you so much. And is this your showroom where we are at?
Yes, yes.
Wow, it looks so beautiful.
Thank you very much. This is a really lovely place to self-isolate.
Wow.
I'm very, very happy here. So let me...
I definitely look forward to visit Brisbane soon.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah. So
look at those.
Yes, yes. So it's when you see, when you see a lot of pearls like this, and because I go to the pearl farm every year for the harvest, I really do have the most amazing collection of pearls and the most variety. So you
these are variety, and can you tell us what pearls are these? These are what? These are South Sea pearls. I can see Burrow pearls.
These are
all Australian pearls.
Yes, yes, all the white.
And look at their sizes.
Yes. So the Maxima pinctada oyster, where these pearls come from, grows to about the size of a dinner plate. So Australian pearls are from 10 millimeters upwards.
Okay.
And as we all know, Japanese pearls finish at about 10 millimeters. So that's the distinct difference between them, plus the variety of the oyster. Now these are Tahitian pearls. They're really very beautiful, magnificent round strands of Tahitian pearls. And here are Tahitian Keshi pearls. Smaller than the ones I'm wearing, but again, that very distinctive organic shape. And this strand here is a beautiful strand of very rare absolutely beautiful Indonesian gold pearls.
Wow, look at that color and the luster which we can see through it.
Yes. There's a very old pearl farmer in Australia, really a pioneer of the industry, Bill Reed. And I can remember years ago saying to Bill, what's the most important thing about pearls? And he said, well, Margot, there are three important things about pearls.
Yes.
One is luster, the second is luster, and the third is luster. So
wow, so luster is so important.
It's so important. And you can have a big
it's
round
incredible.
pearl with no luster and it has no life. And when I'm talking about
wow,
big
and
round
what pearls
pearls,
were those? Wow.
This strand here of round pearls, the center of this strand is 21 millimeters. So if you see
21 millimeter.
21 millimeters.
Wow.
So you can see just how incredible that centerpiece is. And this is actually the finest, largest strand of round pearls in the world. It took
in the world?
Yes, it took us 10 years to collect this strand of pearls. And I was on the pearling mothership when we found the centerpiece, the 21 millimeter. And I was sitting upstairs in the little room pre-grading some pearls. And I heard this amazing ruckus downstairs. And I said, oh, what happened?
Wow.
And they said, we just found a 21 millimeter, perfectly round, perfect pearl, which, you know, might happen once every, 5, 6, 7 years. That's how rare they are. So when we found that pearl, we knew that we had the centerpiece for this extraordinary strand, which is destined to be an absolute family heirloom and treasure.
And the luster is so amazing. I can see the shine and the radiance, it's just so beautiful.
So beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
And tell me that are these graduating? The center is 21 and the smallest would be of what mm?
19.
19. So from
Yes.
21 to 19,
Yes.
Oh my God, they're as close, like, in the size perfect.
Yes, incredible.
Wow.
So the reason, and I love to put together something really rare and really special like this, something that is an absolute rarity in the world. But many other jewelry designers or jewelers might say, well, look, I can use I can use all of those pearls as centerpieces,
right,
and create many more strands.
Many. Wow.
But to be able to have the patience to be able to wait and collect the finest is something that really appeals to me, Renu.
Right. Somebody just asked me what is the weight we are looking at. So what's the total weight of that necklace which you just showed us?
Oh, now that's a question I don't have the answer to, just the top, top of my head. I'm sorry to disappoint.
No. And I saw a beautiful multicolor pearl necklace right there, right next to the white one. Can you show that again, please?
Yes. So this is...
Yes, what is this?
So they're amazing. So they're golden pearls from the Philippines and Indonesia. And then there's some Tahitian beautiful, just silvery grey pearls. And then there are Australian South Seas. And then there are naturally coloured pink pearls as well. So it's a beautiful multicoloured strand of pearls. And they're just magnificently graduated, and the luster is perfect on them. And
the luster is perfect. We can see it through this live session.
Yes.
And and I want to know how long it took you to collect the entire necklace.
Oh, many years. Many years. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So at any given time, I'll have the most amazing collection of loose pearls in my vault, just waiting for their friends to be harvested, so that we can create necklaces and beautiful pieces of jewelry.
Wow. So that requires a lot of patience.
I also love to use pearls as accents on important pieces of jewelry. This is an amazing necklace. It's probably the finest collection of Paraiba tourmaline in the world. Again, it took me almost 10 years to put together. It's all from one mine in Mozambique, and the national language of Mozambique is Portuguese, and because it's every color of the rainbow of Periba tourmaline, I've called this necklace Arco-Iris, which is rainbow in Portuguese. So
you mean to say that the tourmaline, it has rainbow colors?
Yes, yes. So it's green to blue, lavender,
wow,
then intense pink. It's just really quite. It's just an extraordinary piece of jewelry because of the rarity of the gems.
Wow, this is. Tell me how easy it is, to distinguish between pearls. That's what somebody's asked. How do we distinguish pearls? I believe that he means to ask how do we distinguish between South Sea pearls and Akhoya pearl. Is that what you mean, Chetan?
Well, the first way to do that is by size. So as I mentioned before, Japanese pearls will finish, the largest that they are is around about 10 millimeters, and that's the smallest, generally, that's the smallest that an Australian pearl is. So, so that's the first indicator of where the pearl will come from. And to the trained eye, Japanese pearls look very different from Australian pearls. Australian pearls have a very distinctive luster. They tend to grow slowly in waters that generally have a cold current, which promotes a very good luster in the pearls. And they have a much deeper, it's a much deeper layer of nacre around them than the Japanese pearl has. So it has a small nucleus with a very deep layers of nacre. So that's what gives the beautiful luster.
Australian pearls. Wow. So tell me that do you source all these pearls which you have all by yourself?
Yes, I do. So
wow.
Many years ago, R.G. Ellis, who owned the only independently owned pearl farm in Eastern Australia, northeastern Australia, asked me if I would like to go to the farm for the harvest, and knowing what a very coveted invitation that is, because not many people are invited to a pearl harvest. It's when when the farm is at its busiest and there's a lot of proprietary knowledge on show, and nobody really wants a visitor at a pearl farm during harvest because everybody's so busy and they're on a very tight time frame. So I felt deeply honoured to be asked, and I said, "Oh, Archie, when would you like me to come?" And he said, "Well, can you come tomorrow?" And I said, "Well," and I had only just got back from America the day before, and I said, "Yes, I'll come, of course." So I flew from Brisbane to Cairns, which is about a 2-hour flight, and then from Cairns to Gove, and then it was a helicopter to the pearl farm, and then a boat, and it was a great adventure, Renew. And I didn't know what to wear at the farm, and I didn't know what shoes to take, but I knew that the jewelry that I had to take was a strand of pearls. So I had, and when I got there, all the wonderful people who work at the farm, they looked at these strands of pearls and they said, "Oh my goodness, that's what happens to the pearls when they leave here. They end up in these strands." So that was really lovely. But that was an amazing experience and something I shall never forget. To watch as each of these miracles of nature is harvested and comes out of the oyster. There are about 16 technicians who are at the farm, and they have their own shell that they have seeded, and then they harvest the pearl from, and I'll show you actually
please.
Photos. So,
lovely. Wow, that's the whole procedure you're taking us through.
Yes, so that's
nice.
That's a very large Baroque pearl that was harvested 4 years ago, and you can see that that's the shell that it's come from. So they keep the shell.
That's a shell you're mentioning?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's the shell that they come in. That's well, that's me going to the farm. On the helicopter going to the farm. That's me sitting on the deck in the afternoon sun, doing a pre-grade, at sunset of pearls. I
Wow.
can't tell you how amazing
And
it is.
these were all the pearls that you collected on that same very day, is it?
Yeah, so you know, as the harvest goes on, there are, you know, obviously as you get to the last day of the harvest, then all of the pearls are there. So that's
Wow.
when you can really start to grade in with some seriousness and to look to do an overview and to see what, you know, what the harvest has what Mother Nature has given you that year. So that's
Are these Baroque pearls? What pearls are these? Or these are all
yes,
scattered? Like,
yes, they're all Baroque pearls. Yeah.
they're all Baroque pearls.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, so that's on the deck of the ship where the technicians work. So
Okay.
they're the oysters as they have just. So the farmer brings the oysters up out of the ocean the
Okay.
night before the pearls are harvested, and the oysters
Okay.
are actually rested on board the
Okay.
mothership, in
Okay.
a tank of water on board the mothership, and the water
Okay.
is changed in that tank several times overnight, and the oysters literally are rested, so that the next
Okay.
morning the pearling master hopes that the oysters have opened just enough in their own
Oh,
time to be able to just be relaxed because they're about to undergo an operation. So they don't want the
right.
oyster to be tense. They want it to be relaxed.
Okay.
And then these oysters go to the technician, and he will take um, a little stainless steel scalpel and very gently make a small incision, and then
Wow.
remove the pearl, and at the same time put in a new tiny nucleus, and then the
Right.
oyster is very carefully replaced um, put it back into its into its basket, and then carefully replaced back in the water. So it's all done in a very caring way, because when you think that the oysters are what provide the pearl, and taking care of the oysters is every pearl farmer's one, you know, main priority. It's what
Mm-hmm.
everybody who works at the farm wants to make sure that the oysters
I'm sure.
are really well cared for, and that the
Right.
environment is taken well, taken care of as well. That's the beautiful
So,
the
I have a
water.
question.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question. I want to know that do oysters get hurt in the process of the operation, or they are very finely taken care of?
Or they're very finely taken care of, and everybody, they're nurtured, they're cared for, and at no time are they under any stress. And
Okay.
that's the whole idea of bringing them up the night before onto the mothership, so that they
Okay.
naturally relax.
Okay.
If you were to bring oysters out of the water and then make the incision straight away, they would be tense, and then, you know,
Right.
that's just not good for the oyster. But
Okay.
you know, pearls are the only gems that come from a living organism. So taking care of the living organism is of vital importance to the farmer, and it's just what everybody thinks about the whole time is the care and provision of the perfect environment for the oyster to thrive. So that's why it's an environmentally sustainable industry in Australia,
Right.
and the
Mm-hmm.
water is taken care of. The
Mm-hmm.
land and the sea are leased from the Aboriginal Land Council, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants the conditions to be, you know, as pristine each year as they were the year before.
Right. Somebody's asked, how many times can one oyster give pearls?
Well, each pearl is in the oyster for for 2 years. You can't leave a pearl in an
2 years.
oyster for any longer than that. Otherwise, the oyster will
Okay.
get a thing like peritonitis and spit the pearl out. So,
Okay.
unfortunately, you can't leave a pearl in an oyster and hope that it gets bigger, because it doesn't work
Oh,
that way.
wow.
So after
Wow.
2 years, it's harvested, and you harvest the pearl that Mother Nature has provided.
Right.
And during a lifetime, um, a, an oyster might produce 3, 4, or 5 pearls, depending on the health of the natural health of the oyster. And usually, the pearls, as the oyster matures, the pearls will become bigger.
Wow, wow, that's something so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, not everybody is allowed to enter a pearl farming. You know, it's very restricted, is it?
Oh yes, yes. Well, it's also a very long way away, and
Okay.
it's area that nobody goes to. I've been to the pearl farm now many times, and I've never seen a boat. I've never seen a plane. I've never seen anything there. So it's very remote, and as I said, it's on Australian Aboriginal Land Council land and sea.
Wow.
So that's why it's as pristine as it is. It's just
Wow.
incredible.
Right.
And at night time, when I'm living on the pearling mothership, I always get up in the middle of the night. It's just the most amazing sight. They have a light that shines down into the water, and there are literally hundreds of sharks swimming around the boat. So, and I look out, and there's not a light on the horizon, and I can't really say that I've been anywhere else in the world where I've looked out and there's not a light on the horizon. It is the most amazing place. It's one of the remotest places on the planet.
And it must be so peaceful and so beautiful, right?
Very, and very inspiring, Renu. And I do so much of my designing when I'm there, because I find that I'm completely away from the hustle and bustle of normal life. And life at the farm revolves around the rhythm of the day. And things start at sunrise and they finish at sunset. And it's a very soothing and very calming way of life. A little bit frenetic at harvest time, because things have to be done in a very timely fashion with the great care for the oysters. So I am usually there at a busy time, but still it's an amazingly inspiring time. And everybody who works there loves it. And there are people from all over the world, skilled and skilled people in pearling, and then some unskilled young people who go there for what must be an experience of their lifetime.
Right, right. So I want to know that, as an aspiring person who wants to know more about pearls, is there a way I can approach to the organization and put in my request? I would love to come and witness the entire procedure. Do they allow visitors and tourists to come there by any protocol of theirs?
No, unfortunately, no. It's not somewhere that you're able to go. If you come to Australia, Broome is a fascinating place in Western Australia, in northwestern Australia, and Broome is really the pearling capital of the world. And Broome is a fascinating small town on the coast, and with extraordinary topography and blue sea and red sand and dirt, and a very exotic mix of cultures. And you can really get very close to seeing pearling in northwestern Australia, in Broome. Yes, so that's somewhere where when Australia opens up again, when we're all able to travel again, I couldn't recommend more highly a trip to Broome. It's fascinating.
Right. Right. So there's been a question Anju has asked, does Keshi essentially mean Baroque? Please explain the difference between Keshi and Baroque pearls.
Well, a Baroque pearl has a nucleus, so it's an oyster. It's a pearl that we know is there because we've inserted a little nucleus into the oyster to grow a pearl. But a Keshi has no nucleus, so it's really a miracle of nature. It's a pearl that has that the oyster has produced without any nucleus. So that's its essential difference. So if you were to X-ray a Keshi pearl, there's no nucleus. So that's the big difference.
Wow. Okay, so that's a technical difference, but as like, can my naked eyes distinguish between them, or only an expert can distinguish between a Baroque pearl and a Keshi pearl?
There is they do have a different look. A Baroque pearl has a certain look, and a
Okay.
Keshi pearl will look more organic. They'll have they'll have a more free-form shape. So
Mm-hmm.
they're quite a different, distinctive shape and look
Okay.
from a Baroque pearl. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I
So
wouldn't
getting
expect
back.
the untrained eye to be able to pick it up
Oh,
straight away.
really?
The trained eye can. Mm.
The trained I can,
Yeah.
but a person like me who doesn't really have much information about pearls, like except for the fact whatever I'm gathering from you today, so it will be very difficult for me to like figure out the difference between a Keshi pearl and a Baroque pearl.
I think it probably would be having without having looked at many pearls and being able to see the nuances straight away.
Right.
It's like any gem. Um,
Wow.
and as my 89-year-old father said many years ago, if you don't know your jewelry, then you better know your jeweler.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So somebody's asked that generally it is said that pearls take the shape of the bead inserted. Is it true?
No, no. So there are many more factors that come into play with the shape of a pearl. And it used to be that about 4% of the harvest is round, and that's why round pearls are so much more valuable because they're much rarer. And now we get a slightly higher percentage of round pearls, but
Okay.
it's wonderful Mother Nature. We just don't know when we open the oyster to harvest the pearl, we don't know what we're going to get, and that's what's
Wow.
so amazing about it. It's Mother Nature at her finest.
Wow. So tell me that where does the color inside a pearl come from?
The
Is it because
color
that like the color of the shell?
Yes, so the inside, the color of the mother of pearl is always the color of the pearl. So the oyster, when it grows in Australia, is a silver-lipped Maxima punctata, and that's why Australian pearls are a silvery white color, because the mother of pearl is silvery white. And then a Tahitian Maxima punctata is a black-lipped Maxima punctata,
Yes.
and that's why those
Right.
pearls have those hues. So it's always the color of the mother of pearl that gives the pearl the color.
All right. Interesting. So
Mm.
getting back to the pearl farming, I would like to know how many farmers are there working, till the entire harvest.
There are 50 people who work at this farm in East Arnhem Land.
Wow.
But there are only 13 farms in Australia, so it's a very small industry, and very tightly held. And each farm has a quota for wild shell that they can harvest and take back to
Okay.
their farm, so that the industry remains environmentally sustainable, which is very important. It's a very important aspect that the environment is taken care of.
Wow, wow, that's something really incredible. So, like how with diamonds, there's a procedure, right? Because after a roughest source, then a diamond has to be cut, polished, faceted. So, likewise, once you harvest a pearl from an oyster, what is the next procedure, for the pearl to be ready to be start, like put into your jewelry?
Yes. Well, that's the incredible thing about pearls. They're harvested from the oyster, and with the pearls from the farm in East Arnhem Land, they are literally cleaned in a centuries-old Japanese basket in some warm, soapy water, and that's the first thing that happens to them. And then they are given a slight polish, and that's it. That's it. Whereas
That's it.
that's it. Yes, that's their beauty.
Wow.
Their beauty is immediately revealed when they're
Wow. So you
harvested.
don't
It's
have
not.
to wait. Wow, that's instant.
Yeah.
Because one doesn't have to wait for the stone to be polished or like faceted, come onto the market. Nothing.
No, no.
Wow.
Just they're immediately beautiful as they are harvested. It's quite incredible. Yeah.
That's something interesting. That's
Yeah.
something really interesting.
Well, it's
Um,
along with being, as I said, along with being the only gem that comes from a living organism, it's also the only gem that doesn't need to be cut or polished or anything to reveal its beauty.
wow. That's why they're always classy, isn't it?
Yes, always.
Always classy.
And that's
Raj
why
is asking.
they're so highly regarded, and for centuries have been a very important jewel and gem to be adorned with. It's they're very highly regarded and very highly prized.
Oh yeah, they are highly prized. So something has had asked in between, what is the future of culture pearls?
Well, the future is very bright because in Australia we farm in an environmentally sustainable way and make sure that every year we leave the environment in better shape than when we found it, and that we don't overfish we don't harvest too many wild shell. So it's very bright, and it's the people who are involved with Australian pearling are dedicated for it to be an industry that keeps going, and they're dedicated to producing the finest pearls in the world, and that's where Australia shines, because we do produce the finest pearls in the world.
Wow, amazing. There's a very interesting question asked by Mithul. He's asking that, did you guys accidentally find any natural pearl while harvesting some culture pearls?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question, Renu.
He's asked that, did you accidentally find any natural pearls?
Oh, well, natural pearls are keshi pearls. So yes, so you do find natural pearls, and when we're on the ship doing, looking at the pearls as soon as they come out of the oysters, because the very small number of people who do the first grading, they immediately put the natural pearls to one side. So yes, so it's always exciting to find a natural pearl.
Yes, and how can you distinguish easily between a natural pearl and a culture pearls? Once you harvest both the pearls, of course, again, that's done by skilled experts, right?
Yes, yes, and it's really back to the question of the difference between a Baroque pearl and a Keshi pearl. It's really the same
Okay,
answer.
same thing.
Yes, yeah. Mm.
Right. And somebody's again asked the same question. I'm guessing it's the same answer. Distinguish between pearls from Australia and the other places like Indonesia or Japan.
Oh, well, yes, I think we covered with Japan, because the Akoya pearls are a smaller pearl, and again, it's a different variety of Maxima punctata oyster that grows in Indonesia and Tahiti in Australia. So there will be a colour difference as well.
Right, right, right. Okay, interesting.
So to be able to spend the afternoon talking about my favourite gem is so exciting, Renu, and they're great questions.
Would you like to show us some more of your beautiful gems? We would love to see them.
I would, yes, yes. So let me turn my phone around again. So this is a beautiful strand of they're very rare pink pearls, and in the centre are extraordinary, very old Burmese spinel. They're absolutely an amazing colour.
Can you go a little bit closer, please? We would love to see that.
Yes, I'll just get a key. Thank you. It's my helper. Thank you. So see the The Burmese
Wow.
spinel, they're just beautiful, aren't they? It's the very, very old suite of Burmese spinel that I found many years ago, and recut them and polished them, and revealed
Wow.
incredibly beautiful gem.
And these are all same tone of pink pearls?
Yes, 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 yeah.
Same
And
tone of pink
this
pearls.
is an amazing suite of
Yes.
Tahitian keshi pearls. In
Wow.
This is they're really very beautiful Tahitian keshi with
So when you say Tahitian Keshi pearls, do you mean these are natural pearls or these
yes,
are
yeah, yes, keshi pearls, yeah,
wow. These are
and
Tahitian natural Keshi pearls.
yes.
Amazing.
Hmm. Mm. So, and a beautiful
So
suite of sugarloaf cabochon gems.
right.
Mm. That's a
Wow.
beautiful Tahitian round pearl ring. That's a rather
Beautiful.
fabulous pair of earrings with peridot and morganite and tanzanite and rubellite.
You have some amazing gemstone collection. Really amazing gemstones and pearls.
Yes, well, it's what I love doing, really love. And
Nice.
there's some beautiful long strand. And what I love doing, Renu, is making pearl jewelry versatile. So on a long
Right.
strand, like that strand there, there'll be two invisible clasps. So you can wear
Okay.
one strand on its own, or a double short strand, or one long strand. So I think it's really important that pearl jewelry and all jewelry is versatile. And I love pearl bracelets. I think a stack of pearl bracelets is very chic.
Right.
Mm.
Nehal wants to know how do you retail them? Do you decide on the final prices? Like, what are the factors to be considered while pricing these pearls?
Well, the rarity and round pearls always have a premium because they're very rare. So
Rare to find, right?
putting together a round strand of pearls is a very
Right.
difficult thing to do and requires a lot of time. So
Right.
um, it it's really about the whether or not a strand is round or baroque, the
Okay.
size and the luster
Size. So,
dictates the price. So
right. So it's size, shape,
size,
luster.
yes, size, luster, and shape. Mm,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
that's a very beautiful, very fine aquamarine in a detachable pendant.
Wow.
Um,
And that's just one strand of pearl necklace, or those were two strands of pearl necklace?
two strands, Renu.
Wow,
Yes,
two
yeah,
strands of pearl necklace.
yes.
So, which is your favorite piece of jewelry that you love to cherish and you're really fond of?
Well, I would have to say that it's a strand of pearls that I've had for a long time, and pearls are so flattering to wear, and they look marvelous with everything, and I think that it's just the best piece of jewelry for a woman to wear is a strand of pearls. So that's my favorite, and I
Wow, just
also
something
never feel
simple.
dressed without earrings. I have to have earrings on.
Wow. So, is it always like a matching pair of earring along with the necklace, or just like a basic pearl earring is a good to go for you?
I think that sometimes a basic pearl earring, but I love color as well. And, and things don't have to match. You'll notice that this is a green tourmaline and this is a pink
Yes.
tourmaline.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so that for me is matching.
So it's just on an individual styling, like however you want to carry it, however you feel about like a particular color or a jewelry on you.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, especially as I've become older, I've
Oh,
become
you are not at all.
but I've become emboldened, and I think that when you walk into a room, whatever whatever jewelry you're wearing says something about you. It's about, it
Right.
can be, you know, it can be a very individual signature for women, and
Right.
it says as much about you as the clothes that you wear. And I think that
Right.
jewelry is a very important symbol. It's a wonderful symbol of love, of course, and being given a beautiful piece of jewelry is such a special thing. But also marking an occasion in one's own life by acquiring a beautiful piece of jewelry is very important as well. So there are all sorts of reasons to acquire jewelry or be given jewelry, but always it makes people feel happy when they're wearing it, and it's a joyful.
Totally.
It's really joyful to
It's joyful.
put jewelry on,
Right.
and you know, I've noticed in this time that we're going through now, these difficult times that we're all going through, that every day when I put my jewelry on, I feel better. I feel different, and you know, even though I'm not going anywhere,
Right.
just I feel better in myself
Right. Right.
putting my
Right.
jewelry on.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Uh, Raj has asked. He's talking about treatment and matching. I'm not too sure what is he saying. How long does it take to sell these one of a kind pieces? And if it doesn't sell for years, what do you do with it? Do you remake them?
Well, it's always possible, you know, when you've got a fine piece of pearl jewelry. I always say you have very good ingredients, so you can always
Yes,
change it and do something with it, and
absolutely.
that's something that you can do. You know, as the owner of jewelry, just, you know, decades on, you can always change it if you have really good ingredients in jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
piece of jewelry. But look, rare pieces of jewelry and fine, rare strands of pearls, they don't they don't hang around for very long. They're
Oh,
very
really?
sought after by people who know what they're looking at, and in fact, you know, I may I'll hold something for somebody in particular when I know that that's something that they've been looking for, or they'll have a very distinct appreciation for. So fine pieces of jewelry are, I never have a problem with them sitting for very long.
Never have a problem.
Mm.
Right, right. So tell me that does the value of a pearl increase? Like since you've been holding those pearls say for 10 years, do they appreciate in the value?
Look, fine, rare pieces of jewelry always increase in value. I've not experienced it to be any other way, Renu. And that's why, you know, I think always striving to acquire the finest that you can is
Okay,
a very good thing to do when looking at acquiring jewelry. And
right, right,
sometimes
right.
if you're starting off and you're young, then to have one very good pearl as a pendant, perhaps that's a great way to start.
I think
Rather
so too,
than,
yeah.
and I'm always saying that to young people, it's you know, you can spend a lot of money on costume jewelry or jewelry that's not um, that might be more fun than valuable, but to have perhaps, you know, one way to look at it is to have fewer pieces, but to have
Right,
really lovely, good quality pieces
absolutely.
that we will always have as good quality jewelry.
Right. I so believe in that, have one but have the finest quality of a jewelry with you.
Yeah,
There's no need to like buy because it's in fashion or like buy because that's the trendiest thing. Buy something small, but it should enhance your personality. You should feel good at the end of it. That's what is very important. It should resonate with you, like with the kind of person you are. So I
exactly.
think that's so beautifully put up
Yeah.
that it's jewelry. It's just about you. How do you feel when you wear it?
Yes, and I think it's the same with you know, with clothes, with fashion.
But
If you
yeah,
can
absolutely.
afford to buy something that is beautifully cut with made of fine fabric, then that's going to last. Oh gosh, I have things that I bought when I was much younger that I still wear, and that I might have stretched myself to buy at the time. but they've turned out to be very good investment pieces.
Right. We would like to see some more of your jewels before we close this chat, because you know this is a great opportunity where we can see your entire store probably and see all the lovely collection you have.
Yes, so this is a really extraordinary opal necklace. These are all Australian opals, and they're from they're black opal. So they're from Lightning Ridge in northern New South Wales, which is about 10 hours driving from where we live. And
10 hours driving.
Yes. Many years ago, I won the International Opal Jewellery Design Award, and that was in Lightning Ridge. And this piece was just featured in a very important new book about opal jewellery. It's called Constellation. And again, it took about 9 years to collect these pieces of opal. They're just simply incredible. It's a very, very important opal necklace. I just love these earrings. They're called Totem. And whereas, I'll just open this door, Renu, because you get a better, here, I have the key. And this is boulder opal.
Okay, these are boulder opals.
Yes. And you can see the beautiful colors in them.
Right.
They're really lovely. And make these earrings very versatile. So they come apart at each point. So you can wear just the top with the drop pearl or any of the pieces in between. So you can have a really long pair of earrings, or you can have a shorter pair of earrings. And here's a close-up of these opals.
Nice.
So beautiful.
And I believe that opals and pearls have a best combination, because opals have such beautiful spectrum of color and pearls are always white and classy, so it just blends so beautifully.
It does. And I always think, Australia produces the most amazing gems, and we're so fortunate that we're so rich in gemstones in Australia. And I totally agree with you that opals and pearls look so beautiful together. And when you think that the opals come from really arid, almost desert-like conditions, and look like the sea, and pearls come from the sea, but they work so fabulously together.
Natalia is saying she wants them all. So I guess, we all want all of your jewelry.
Send me your address and I'll organize it.
Wow. So do you have a strand with all different kinds of pearls? Like where you have a Baroque pearl, you have a Keshi pearl, you have a South Sea pearl, you have a different kinds of pearls all in one strand?
I don't have at the moment, but that's a good idea, Renu. I shall do that again. Sometimes when I do that, actually that is something that usually somebody wants straight away. So that's a good thing to have reminded me of. Thank you.
There you go. Can you describe more about opals? You know what? Maybe we can talk about opals in our next session. Since today we are mainly focusing on pearls, because that's a question asked by Sony. So Sony, we'll come back to opals in our next session. But if anybody has more questions about pearls, please go ahead and please ask them. So you know what? In fact, now I will be looking forward to see your new layout with all different shapes of pearls and different kinds of pearls. It will be very interesting to see.
Yes, that can be an inspiration from today.
Oh, lovely. Gormi wants to know who designs all these jewelry. It's you, of course.
Hey, I do, yes.
It's you. Yeah, we have the talented Margot. She designs, and she also sources all these pearls. She's a lady behind the entire thing. Yes, so brilliant. So thank you so much for your time. In case if any one of you all do have more questions, please feel free to either DM me or to DM her. We would love to address to all of them. And guess what? That just before we are closing, there's electricity back in my house. So
wonderful! I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Somebody wants to know, at what age did you start your journey? Yes. So let's talk about, how long back did you start your journey?
Well, jewelry has always been my great love. I've grown up. I'm fourth generation in my family's
Wow.
business. Not that we always sold jewelry. There wasn't. My great grandfather started our business in Australia in 1884, and I doubt that anybody was really selling much jewelry in 1884 in Australia.
Wow.
But it's always been a great passion and a great love of mine. I love the way that I feel when I wear jewelry, and it's really special when when somebody acquires a piece of jewelry from me, and it makes a huge difference to their life, and they love wearing it as much as I enjoyed creating it. So I love to travel, Renu, and to travel and to source these beautiful gems that I design with, and then to travel the world and see my collectors is really, it's very fulfilling and has enriched my life enormously. And now I'm really happy that we have a fifth generation coming along in the business. And my nephew, Andrew Welsh, is studying at the GIA at the moment in Carlsbad in California. And he was 3 weeks before his final exam, and because of coronavirus, the GIA
was
lockdown. So he's back in Australia at the moment, and we're working together on some videos that we're going to be producing, and then he'll go back and finish his graduate gemology degree at the GIA. So my great-grandfather would be very proud, I think, that our business is entering into its fifth generation. So there aren't very many family businesses that can say that. So it's very rewarding and very fulfilling.
I'm sure.
My sisters were always involved in the business, and my my father, of course, and my mother. So it's been a great thing to be involved with.
Wow, it's such an honor for all of us to have you and to share all your expertise. It's really, really incredible. I would like to know that is there any plan of you to visit Mumbai or any place in India for any pearl sourcing?
Look, I haven't, and when we're able to travel again, that sounds like a marvelous idea, Renu.
Yes, you have to. You have to come to Mumbai.
Yes, I would love that.
You have to come to Mumbai.
Yes, yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Mumbai with the different kinds of pearls necklace. Hopefully, it will be done. It will be amazing.
Very good. I love it.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you so much for all your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Renu. It was a great honor and a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.